There's the outer roundabout. We are entering now. Then you have the inner roundabout. Between the two of them, there's the entrance to the subway and bicycle lanes, and it all flows, you see, beautifully. Your hotel is over to the left. If you keep looking left, you may see down below Burger King on the left, on the left side. Can you see that?
Yes.
If you take that street up, remember the second or the third street to the right takes you to the hotel. Over to your left, there's a big wide avenue that we are going to leave for the end of this tour, not now. That's Liberty Avenue, which is a straight line down to the river downtown. Here we have the intersection of the blue and the yellow lines of the subway. In Lisbon we have the metro. The metro of Lisbon is not big like Paris, London or New York, since Lisbon is a lot smaller. Our subway reminds me of the one in Washington DC. We have 4 lines, the lines are color-coded. The metro is actually quite nice, clean, safe and beautiful. Most of our subway stations are decorated with tiles and statues. It's like an underground art gallery. We even take tours on the subway of Lisbon, but it's not fancy like Moscow, but it's beautiful. So we have only 4 lines. We are now building a 5th line for the subway and expanding some of the older ones. So the metro has been growing in the past couple of years. Actually, there's a lot of works going on the streets of Lisbon. Lisbon is going again through a cycle of construction, reconstruction, and renovation. There's a lot going on. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up to your left, just for a glimpse, you may enjoy to see Lisbon's synagogue. For the Jewish community living with us, the synagogue was built between the years 1902-1904. The Jewish community, by the way, has been growing in the past few years. Jewish families and citizens have been applying for Portuguese citizenship. The synagogue is on the left side. There's a police officer standing in front of the door. On the door you can read in Hebrew. My Hebrew is terrible, but it says there, Share Tikva, on the left side, everyone. Can you see that? The synagogue is the white building beyond the white gate. Anyway, Lisbon is a multicultural, multiracial, multi-ethnic city, very mixed. We have people from all over the world living with us. There's people from North and South America, Eastern, Western Europe, a lot of people from Asia, from Africa, from everywhere. In Lisbon we have registered more than 100 different nationalities. The community number 1 of immigrants living with us, number 1 by far, is the Brazilian. Consider that Brazilians speak Portuguese, and it's much easier for them to apply and come over to Portugal, find a job, because there's no language barrier. Portuguese language happens to be the official language of Portugal, Brazil, Angola, Mozambique, Guinea-Bissau, Cape Verde, Saint Tomé and Prince, and East Timor. Spoken by well over 250 million people around the world. We'll be stopping, not now, right away, but we have a couple of, actually, a few stops during this morning tour. We are now heading to the western part of the city. We are heading out to the neighborhood of Belém. We spell B-E-L-E-M, Belém. We say that means, you know what? Bethlehem. Like in the Holy Land, there's Bethlehem. That's where we're taking now in Belém, as we say in Portuguese, Belém. That's where we have the most important, the most significant monuments of Lisbon. The first we'll see will be the famous Tower of Belém. Then we see also the monument dedicated to the Portuguese sailors and navigators. These are the two most iconic monuments of Lisbon. Then our tour will bring us to downtown Lisbon, to the very heart of the city downtown that we have not seen yet. And then that's the moment you have to decide whether staying there for the rest of the day or finish at the hotel. All right, and it's up to you. If you decide to stay in downtown Lisbon or anywhere else, and then if you want to go back to the hotel, depending on where you are, I mean, you may even walk, but really, to optimize your time, in order not to get lost, to go from one place to another, my suggestion is that you grab a taxi. Taxis take 4 people. They run by the meter. Many of them do not accept credit cards, so you must have cash euros. If you have the application Uber, it works beautifully also. Taxis in Lisbon are among the cheapest in Europe, very reasonable in price. Uber is even cheaper, so I think you'll be okay. And in front of us now there's another small roundabout with a statue in the middle. Whenever you see a statue, it's always the statue of the winner. We don't have the statue of the loser. It's always the national hero. This is the statue in front of us of Pedro, like myself. Pedro is a very common name. Pedro Álvares Cabral. I don't know if that rings the bell, Cabral. Pedro Álvares Cabral was the Portuguese navigator who officially found Brazil in 1500. 400 years later, in the year 1900, this statue representing Pedro Álvares Cabral was built. Brazil, by the way, was the first Portuguese colony to become independent from Portugal 200 years ago already. Do you know which one was the last Portuguese overseas territory to become independent from us? Macau. Portugal returned Macau to China back in 1999. I've heard that after the Portuguese left Macau, it became the new Las Vegas in Asia. So many casinos there, you know. It's right across from Hong Kong. Macau. On the right side, there's a white wall which belongs to the British cemetery, mostly for the British Anglican community living here. Over to the right, British cemetery. On the left side, a beautiful garden from the 1800s, 1840s. It's considered a romantic garden from the 1800s with artificial lakes and fountains, statues, like a small oasis we have in the center of town. Lisbon is also famous for its parks, botanical gardens, green areas, thanks to the nice mild climate we enjoy here almost all year round. Summers are warm but bearable. Very rarely we get those extreme high temperatures. There's always a breeze coming from the Atlantic Ocean. And winters are mild. We don't get the snow. It never freezes, really. And well, this is a wonderful time of the year to visit. In front of us now, everyone keep looking, the beautiful Basilica of Estrela, perhaps the finest example of Baroque architecture that you may find in all of Lisbon. This church was the first to be built after the big earthquake of 1755. The church itself is from the 1780s already. It's a Catholic church dedicated to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Look over to your left through the windows, please. Look at the bell towers and the dome. An amazing achievement of architecture from the 1700s. The beautiful Basilica of Estrela. It was built at the time of our Queen Maria I. Queen Maria, she's better known among the Portuguese people as the Mad Queen. You know, there's always one or two of those. You know these royals, right? They married among themselves, and believe me, sometimes the result was not brilliant. Too much consanguinity, you know what I mean? The majority of the Portuguese people follow the Roman Catholic traditions, as you may know. We enjoy the freedom of religion. I mean, the state and the church have been separated since 1911. There is no official religion in Portugal, really. Because of immigration, we also have mosques, synagogues, Hindu temples, Buddhist, Orthodox, Anglican. There's even the Church of Scotland, not far away from here, actually. So there's for all tastes, really. We'll be stopping in about 10 minutes just to keep informed. Did you bring that whisper device, the gadget that Maya gave you last night?
Yes.
Do you have them with you?
Yes.
Have you tried them yesterday?
Yes.
Okay, great. Because once we get off the bus in a few minutes, we'll be using the whisper for just 5 minutes to provide a quick orientation of the area before you have your free time.